Hello, this is Joan Hunter, and welcome to another exciting episode of Miracles Happen. This particular program is actually filmed in Amarillo, Texas. You think, well, what's in Amarillo, Texas? Well, if you stay tuned, you will find out that besides currently 108-degree weather right now, very windy where we are, we're in the middle of a canyon, and it's absolutely going to be breathtaking, not only to see what God has done, but to hear what God has to say to you through our trip here to Amarillo.
Welcome to Miracles Happen. Joan Hunter has been traveling the world in the healing ministry for more than 45 years.
Be aware of what the enemy is trying to do to you and say, no more.
She is hosted around the world for healing and miracle services because wherever she goes, miracles happen. Joan shares her tenacious faith in how to pray for the sick,
Bringing people here and sending them out to the four corners of the earth. That's my job.
She traveled the world with her parents, Charles and Frances Hunter, for over 30 years.
I expect a miracle tonight.
Joan sees healing, signs, and wonders happen all the time in the name of Jesus, and she wants to share this with you.
As anointed as I am, so are you.
Whether it's filmed on location at Joan Hunter Ministries in Tomball, Texas, or from around the world, you can be sure to hear good news and receive the resounding message that miracles happen.
God has anointed in the area of healing, body, mind, soul, spirit, and finances.
So stay tuned and join us for this week's extraordinary episode of Miracles Happen.
God is a God of hope who heals the body, spirit, and soul. Are you ready for your miracle? Miracles happen.
Here we are in Amarillo, Texas at Cornerstone Church. Absolutely love this place. Not only for the church itself, but what it's doing and what it's doing for the community. And as you can see behind me, there is just a ton of baskets that are ready to go. And we are having church on the inside, and we're going to talk to them. We're going to talk to them about the importance of giving, not just hoarding. And as they give whatever they have, God supernaturally multiplies it. It's so incredible with what God is doing through this ministry here. They give out hundreds and hundreds of baskets of filled food like this. All this is donated. There's hundreds of gallons of milk donated, bread, all kinds of stuff. Rainier cherries, which I had my fill this morning, which I'm very excited about. And they have so many incredible things. People's lives are changed. And every week they see multiple people saved. Many times they give them a copy of the book, Life Book, that I wrote, and they'll be giving those out today also. And it's so exciting what God is doing, and it's meeting the needs of the community, not just meeting their spiritual needs, but giving them what they need spiritually, but then also blessing them with an overflowing basket of fresh bread, milk, everything, and literally all kinds of great things. There's vitamins in there, there's shampoo, there's soap, just everything that a household would need. And I just want to really encourage you to really continue to pray for this church. And Joe and Jackie Kirkwood, they head this church up and this ministry. They're an amazing couple.
Well, we're here in Palo Duro Canyon. This is what we call the Grand Canyon of Amarillo, or Texas. And it's 1,000 feet deep. Palo Duro means hardwood. It's the Spanish words for hardwood. And behind me is the famous Big Mouth Cave. And the Indians lived here for many, many years. And in this particular cave, when I was a kid, there were actual hieroglyphs on the walls that were painted of little animals, deer and stuff, with white paint that the Indians had painted on the walls inside that cave. There's an entrance. If you climb up the mountain, there's an entrance up there that will bring you down into the cave that way. And so you can see it's just a beautiful creation of God. And up on top is as flat as can be. It's the plains up there, but this was carved out with all the water rushing through here over many centuries. And look at what God's done.
We were looking up in the Dream Dictionary book, what does canyon mean? And canyon it's interesting what canyon means. It's opportunity to overcome. It's observation, a situation, but to overcome. And I think it's kind of interesting because we've all had our own little canyon, our own little dip in the road, so to speak, and it has carved, as the torrential rains have gone through here, through the thousands of centuries and so forth, that as they have gone through here, it has literally carved out an absolutely amazing canyon. And as I'm standing in front of this cave over here, there's a lot of caves, which is like really exciting. All the different, everyone has a story behind it, which is really neat. And so oftentimes they would go in there to hide for protection, but mainly hide. And this is a time when we need to come out of our cave and literally walk into all that God has for us.
Miracles are happening everywhere, and now you can proclaim it everywhere you go with the Miracles Happen t-shirt and blanket. The t-shirts come in all sizes and a variety of colors, as well as with rhinestones and without. The Miracles Happen t-shirt is available for men and women. Get your shirt today and watch as God opens doors for you to pray for the sick around you. Both the Miracles Happen t-shirts and blanket are a constant reminder for all of us that miracles happen everywhere. And check out His Healing Promises. His Healing Promises is a selection of scriptures on healing read by Joan Hunter. If you need encouragement about your healing or faith to trust God in a difficult time, this is for you. Let your spirit be lifted and your hope restored as you listen to God's healing promises over your life. Go to miracleshappen.tv now to order your Miracles Happen t-shirt and blanket or your copy of His Healing Promises, or call 1-281-789-7500.
Here we go. We're getting ready to go on an aerial view of Palo Duro Canyon here in Amarillo. Expect great and amazing sights that you've never seen before. And it's going to be an exciting time. I'm co-piloting, so that's good.
Okay, I'm ready to close this door. There we go. All right, we'll taxi down to the other end and do all of our engine checks, and then we'll be ready to go. 75 Delta, request flight following out over Palo Duro Canyon to do some filming and then return to trade winds. Trade wind traffic, Bonanza 5575 Delta, departing runway 17. We do a clearing turn at an uncontrolled airport to see if there's any planes coming in, just in case maybe their radio was out. Oh, I need to put my nav lights. Put that on, and then that puts us on their TCAST. If other aircraft have TCAST, they can see me too. Okay, here we go. Kick the tires and light the fires. We will go down until we get to 80 miles per hour, and we'll lift it off. So fun. So this is the beginning of the Palo Duro Canyon, and we are entering what's known as the state park area. The canyon is about 1,000 feet deep in most places, and half-mile wide. It goes for about 300 miles. We call it the Grand Canyon of Texas. From the air, it doesn't look as deep, but it's when you're down inside of it, as we were yesterday, it's very deep. And one of the things that came to my mind, Joan, was that, you know, it's when we come to God, everything is flat. And it's like everything is silted in, as we see out here on top. But, you know, when we come to God, God starts washing us with the water of the Word and starts washing away all the debris. And, you know, from the surface out here, you can't tell there's anything beautiful under the ground. But once the debris and the silt is washed away, then you can see the beautiful colorations and the beautiful creations and rock formations. And what's amazing is that what gets left is sort of defies gravity sometimes. It's the rock formations and the towers, and we'll try to fly over the famous Lighthouse Rock, and you can see Some of it I can actually see it off in the distance, and we'll fly over to get better footage of it. But you know, when you come to Amarillo, you just wouldn't even know this is here. But the Plains Indians discovered this, and they lived down here for many, many years till the cavalry put them on the reservation. But it's just such a beautiful creation of God, and like the Grand Canyon, but not quite as deep as the Grand Canyon. But it's the second largest canyon in the United States. All the different colors of rock, as things washed away, there's red and there's yellow, bright yellow, and they refer to the red and the yellow colors as the Spanish skirts, much like the Spanish that came here, and the women that had the beautiful skirts that usually had reds and yellows woven into the fabric. So they nicknamed all of these colorations in the rock. And this is the famous Lighthouse Trail that takes a half a day to walk down, but in an airplane it's about 60 seconds. You look right out there off the left nose, see it sticking up out.
It's amazing. I'd never heard of it until I came out here to church a year ago, and it's just absolutely amazing.
That lighthouse is like 300 feet tall, but from here it doesn't look so tall, and it takes people even in the state park that half a day to walk there, and you got to have a half a gallon of water.
It's really interesting because up here now at the top, kind of the end of it, it's totally completely flat, and then all of a sudden, boom, you have this massive, amazing God's creation canyon.
Yeah. That's like us. We look at each other, you know, in life, and we so easily judge each other by the cover. But what's underneath is what God sees, and he looks at the heart and what the potential is. And, you know, he's kind of like Michelangelo. He just got to get the debris off to reveal the statue underneath.
Like God looking at our heart, all the little intricate. And one of the joys of going on this trip is that you get a snow cone.
Yeah,
everybody needs it.
When you get to the bottom of the canyon, it's so hot. The thing you look forward to is buying a snow cone. That's right. Such a beautiful, inspiring place. And when I started working on the book to write it, my friend has this zip line right here. So I was just perched on the edge of the canyon, and it was nothing to every morning to see deer just all around my camper, and all kinds of wildlife, and even a few mountain lion prints. Sometimes when it would snow, I would see the prints from the next morning. And but it's just beautiful. You could just walk down into the canyon from his property there at the zip line. There are a lot of ranches that border this as it goes to 300 miles to the southeast. And it was so key for ranches because in the winter when we have the harsh winds, they could put the cattle down inside the canyon and protect them, where a lot of ranches would have to ship cattle to other locations, because there are some years that, not too many, but some years where it's so cold here that you can actually freeze cattle at 5,200 feet above sea level. Get a really nice view of all the different colors. But we're the beef capital of the world. There's millions of heads of cattle all around, feedlots. If we just go a little bit that way, there's just feedlots everywhere.
That rock formation down there, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, these are really great places to put houses and buy some land. You can get kind of down in the canyon with your house, and then the backdrop when you look out the window is the canyon wall. We're coming up to the town of Canyon, Texas, and this is where the university is, West Texas State University, which now is a part of Texas A&M. And so has a lot of students here. There's a wonderful museum there that has all the dinosaur bones that were found in Palo Duro Canyon and the surrounding area.
That's pretty amazing to think that so long ago in this area, they found bones from this.
And dinosaur bones. That's wild.
They have really found some big ones over here. They have a leg bone, just one section of a leg bone, and the thing is about 8 inches around.
Wow.
And it's about 6 feet long, and it's just like one little section of a leg bone off of a dinosaur. Yeah, the feedlots and the beef packing plant here in Amarillo, believe it or not, I mean, it's hard to fathom, but they will butcher 10,000 cattle sometimes in a day's time. So you can see the football stadium over here for the university and all that. There's one of the small feedlots. I think that is maybe the Randall County feedlot. Right here you see the little pond, waste pond. This is one of the smaller feedlots. Each cow is worth about $1,500 to $2,000. So if you have over 1 million head being fed, ready to go to slaughterhouse, to see is a lot of money. All right, we'll head back in toward Amarillo. Go have some breakfast at the church. It's one of my favorite things to do is like come up in the rest of the time I like to come up in the evening time. During the summer it's not great, but come up in the evening time and just get up here with the clouds, and you know, it's just so surreal and peaceful and everything. But probably some of the God moments I've had is when something went wrong. I was in a 1942 model PT with a wooden prop, and we were flying out over the city commemorating Memorial Day. We were up with a bunch of fighters, old World War II fighters. Myself and another guy was in the aircraft when all of a sudden it sounded like the engine exploded. The noise was so horrendous we couldn't even talk to the tower. And we didn't know what exactly had happened, but we started losing altitude, and it looked like we were going to crash land. But God had promised me that I would never die in a plane crash. And so I just started praying. Just this incredible peace came over me. I wasn't fearful at all. I just, started flying the airplane and, discovered I still had oil pressure and everything. And so was able to cripple along and get on a glide path to the airport, and then got to the point where I could actually shut the engine off and glide down. And when we got on the ground, discovered that the wooden prop, half of it had snapped off. So, so now they make all of the wooden props be x-rayed every so many hours. As a result of that, the FAA implemented that. So all right, we'll put our landing gear down, kind of like throwing out the air brakes. We'll turn for our downwind pattern. So your pattern altitude is always 1,000 feet above the ground. So 4,500 above sea level here. Kind of got a little bumpy right here at the end. Doesn't take long when the heat starts rising up. Beautiful. I always like it when they're nice landings. You just don't realize it here, but our altitude is 3,640 feet above sea level, but you just go 100 miles that way and you're only 500 foot.
Joan, let's get a selfie with all three of them. Awesome.
That's good.
I am Pastor Joe Kirkwood, pastor of Cornerstone Ministries here in Amarillo, Texas, and I just want to share this incredible story that happened. You know, God can make a way where there seems to be no way, and when we got this property to give out food to the poor, it was such a big building. It was 30,000 square feet, and behind us was what later became our thrift store. But when we first got here, we'd spent all of our money trying to renovate, and we really needed some money to convert the end of this building into an apartment so we would have a security officer here. And so the end of this building used to be an old gas station. The end of this building was covered in glass. And so we didn't have the money. I'd gotten some estimates. It was going to be thousands of dollars to remove the glass, to frame it in and turn it into an apartment. And so our staff, we got together and we prayed one morning, praying that God would give us some money. We couldn't see anywhere that we could get this money. About an hour after we prayed, coming out of the staff meeting, all of a sudden I heard sirens blaring, and it wasn't like just one fire truck or a police car, but it was so many sirens. I thought something's going on. So I came out of our main building that's over here to my right, and came outside and came out into this parking lot, stood in the middle of the parking lot, and I could hear coming from up the street these sirens. And as I stood here looking up Buchanan Street, I could see red lights flashing and police cars and fire trucks, and I'm standing there watching, and then I noticed all these men are riding horses on horseback. There's like 20 men on horses, and they're chasing something. They're coming this direction, and as it got closer, I discovered there was a bull, a large bull that was running down Buchanan Street. Now what I found out was that the Amarillo livestock auction that had been here for 70 years, they're like 7 miles away. And never in the history of the Amarillo livestock auction has an animal gotten out of those steel corrals because the fences are so high. But on this particular day, something got into this bull, according to the owner of the livestock auction. He said something came over this bull, and this bull literally went over the top of the pipe fence and started running down the railroad tracks. Cowboys began chasing this animal. The police were called, and they chased this bull through town, down the railroad tracks. But when the bull got to Buchanan Street, and that's the street that we're on right here, the bull turned, made a right-hand turn, and came down Buchanan Street. And I'm standing out here in the parking lot looking up the street, and I see this bull coming, and the bull comes running and doesn't run at me. It was almost like I was invisible. The bull runs past me, runs here to the end of this building where all the glass was. And the bull stops at the glass, turns around backwards, and kicks the glass out of the end of this building where the window is. And then when the glass fell, the bull went inside and then just went berserk and tore out the other side and ripped all the glass out of both sides of the building. But after the bull did that, all of a sudden this crazy bull, this peace and calm came over the bull, and the bull starts walking slowly across the highway. You see, across the street there's a little church here, and the cowboys are all chasing this bull, coming on horseback, and one of the cowboys was driving a pickup pulling a horse trailer. And he pulled the horse trailer over there where the white van is there at this church. And the cowboy gets out, he opens the tailgate of the horse trailer, and the bull calmly walks across the road, gets into the horse trailer, and the cowboy closes the horse trailer.
And I'm standing here just in shock, like, what has just happened? And all the police and everybody's converging here on the parking lot. About that time, a man pulls up in a pickup truck, rolls down the window, and he says, "Do you know who the owner of the property is?" I said, "Well, I'm the pastor of the church here." And he said, I own the Amarillo Livestock Auction. I am so sorry about what has happened. And he said, "I just want you to know, I want to pay for any damage that has been caused." And I said, "Well, do you have insurance?" He goes, "Well, I don't even want to run it through our insurance." He said, I would just like to pay you." And he said, "Do you have any idea how much the damage is?" Well, I'd already gotten an estimate what it was going to take to tear the glass out and put in the apartment. And it was thousands of dollars. So I just told him what the estimate was that I'd received. And the man said, "Well, that sounds good to me." Reached in the console of his pickup, took out a checkbook, and wrote out exactly the amount that we had just prayed for an hour before, handed me the check, and I'm standing there holding this check in almost disbelief, because what is the odds of God causing a bull to jump out of the stockyards, run 5 to 7 miles through town, turn onto our street as if the bull had built-in GPS, run across our parking lot, and smash the glass out? But that day, God answered prayer, exactly what we'd asked him. We always say God works in mysterious ways, but on that day, God worked in mischievous ways, and God provided. So I just want to say, whatever you're going through, it doesn't matter. God is the way maker. He will make a way where there seems to be no way. You don't have to worry. You don't have to fear, because God is awesome in this way, and He will provide for you during this time, during this season. Even if you have to have a bull come running through town to your property to give you the money, He'll do it.
I hope you've enjoyed today's program of Miracles Happen. We've had a lot of fun going up in the air and all around and seeing lots of miracles, and I hope you have really enjoyed one of our weekends here in Amarillo, Texas, as we have seen the most beautiful land that you could ever fathom. I think it's the most beautiful place in Texas, and also we've seen the most amazing church here in Amarillo, not to mention incredible miracles and all that God did. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. But also, I want to encourage you, really pray about seeding into miracleshappen.tv so that we can continue coming to you live and from all around the world. God bless you. Thanks so much.
Miracles happen.
Thanks for watching Miracles Happen. Contact us at miracleshappen.tv or give us a call at 1-281-789-7500 or connect with Joan on Facebook at facebook.com/Joan Hunter. And make sure to join us next week for Miracles Happen.
God is a God of hope who heals the body, spirit, and soul.